Welcome to the programme. It's a dramatic escalation in the tensions between Washington and Tehran, one which will send ripples across the Middle East. The US has confirmed it's killed Iran's top general in an airstrike at Baghdad's international airport. General Qassem Soleimani was head of Iran's elite Quds force and the mastermind of Tehran's proxy wars in the region. Washington said he'd been plotting attacks on American diplomats and troops in Iraq and throughout the Middle East, and that President Trump ordered his killing. Soleimani died early this morning in the US airstrike, which also killed Abu Mahdi al-Mohandes, the deputy commander of the Iran-backed militias in Iraq, known as the Popular Mobilization Forces. Iran's supreme leader, al-Khamenei, has now warned the US will face, quote, harsh retaliation. NBC News' Cal Perry is in London for more on this for us. Good morning to you. Thanks for your time. What more do we know about these airstrikes and the identities of those who've been killed?
You know, we don't know a whole lot more. It just came about 7 hours ago. Those two individuals that you listed, certainly top commanders. I can add somebody to that list, Nail Qassem. He was the #2 inside Lebanese Hezbollah. He was the Deputy Secretary General. So we're talking about, at the very least, 3 very high commanders very close to Iran, assassinated by the United States. Certainly something that nobody expected. And look, anybody who tells you they know what happens next is lying. This has never happened in the Middle East. These were men who were considered untouchable by all standards because of the potential reaction that we could see. As you sort of laid out, we're keeping an eye on the proxies that Iran has throughout the region for some kind of a response. There has been 3 days of mourning declared in Tehran, so expect something to happen sort of within the next 72 hours, but very unclear sort of what that response will be at this time, Rosie.
Well, this is a serious escalation in the relationship between Trump and Tehran. What are the short-term but also the long-term repercussions?
Listen, any chance of negotiations or a peace plan you can put well to the side. This, of course, follows Donald Trump tearing up that nuclear agreement that had taken so long to hash out with Iran. Certainly, when it comes to people inside Iran, there will be a rallying cry around this event. As I said, that 3 days of mourning, we've already heard from the foreign minister of Iran, who basically called the United States a rogue nation. You can expect that U.S. forces around the world will go on a heightened state of alert. That is happening right now, as well as in Israel. Keep in mind, Lebanese Hezbollah, their deputy commander, was killed overnight, so possible we could see a reaction there. Certainly, things have changed this morning in the Middle East. Iran has incredible power across the region. It will look to sort of exert that power in the coming days and weeks, Rosie.
Cal Perry, thank you very much, NBC News correspondent. Well, we just heard a little bit of it there, but Iran's foreign minister was very quick to respond to the airstrikes, talking on Twitter. Shauna has the update for us.
Well, one of the earliest indications we received that a serious geopolitical move had been made was by the US President Donald Trump taking to Twitter, posting simply a United States flag without any context. Around an hour later, we saw the White House confirming that Soleimani had been killed, calling it decisive defensive action. And since then, we've seen numerous reactions, both on the diplomatic stage, but also regional experts warning of the consequences and wondering as to what's going to happen next. We saw the Iran Foreign Minister Zarif taken quickly to Twitter to condemn the move, saying here that the US bears responsibility for all consequences of what he calls its rogue adventurism. But certainly for those experts within the region, they have expressed their concern, the likes of an Iranian journalist taking to Twitter saying that the gravity of this moment in US-Iran relations cannot be overstated. Richard Engel of NBC taking to Twitter saying Iranians will consider US killing Soleimani an act of war. But even within the United States, there isn't broad consensus on this. We saw Lindsey Graham, of a Republican who's a supporter of the US president, taking to Twitter, congratulating the move, saying here the price of killing and injuring Americans has just gone up drastically. But for Mayor Bill de Blasio of New York, he expressed concern even on a local level. First of all, saying he was worried for our city and our nation, but going on to say that he was making moves to protect New York City itself, saying here on Twitter that he had spoken with Commissioner and other commissioners to make sure that New York City will be safe. But what's going to happen in the days and weeks, that's certainly going to be major geopolitical moves here at play.